Before we wrap up, I have to ask, this whole strategy of reciprocal tariffs, economic pressure, and global market manipulation, do you think it's stupid or is it actually kind of genius?
Oh, that's the question, right? Honestly, I'd say it's both. Genius in how it plays to America's strengths, stupid in how it ignores the long-term blowback.
Interesting. Let's dig into that. Why would you call it genius?
Because Trump understands leverage. The US still holds the world's reserve currency, has unmatched consumer demand, and leads in tech and finance. By weaponizing all that through tariffs and capital, he bends other countries economically, without firing a single shot.
And it sells. America first, bring jobs home, people get it. It's political fuel.
Exactly. It creates a feeling of control. Even if the actual impact is debatable, people feel like America's taking back power. That emotional win is huge.
Okay, now let's flip it. Why is it stupid?
Because it's reactive. You can only pressure the world so much before they look for alternatives. Right now, countries are actively building non-dollar trade systems, ditching SWIFT, forming new alliances. The US might win today's skirmish, but it risks losing the system it built.
So, it isolates the US?
Eventually, yes. The US has always thrived in an open global system. Everyone using dollars, trading on American terms. Undermine that too hard, and people stop trusting the whole game.
But some might say the system was already breaking. Trump's just forcing everyone to confront it.
True, but disruption isn't always strategic. If you shake the system so much that your allies suffer, your rivals harden, and markets become chaotic, then it's not genius. It's reckless.
Let me throw this in. What if the goal is to break the current system, then rebuild one that suits America better?
That's a darker theory, but it has legs. Some in Trump's circle believe in a creative destruction model. Tear down the post-World War II economic order, then reboot it with new rules. But historically, that kind of chaos rarely plays out the way you want.
So Trump's playing poker with the global economy. Big bet, big payoff, or big collapse.
Exactly. And the rest of the world, they're starting to call the bluff.
Okay, lightning round. Genius or stupid?
Genius, for getting headlines, winning elections, weaponizing economics. Stupid, for burning bridges, risking the global system, and undermining long-term trust.
Sounds like the Trump brand in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
Quick shift, what about Indonesia? How does all this affect a place like that?
Great question. Indonesia is a perfect case study. It's a rising economy, but extremely vulnerable to financial shocks, especially when US policies trigger global sell-offs.
So when Wall Street panics and pulls money out, countries like Indonesia take the hit.
Exactly. Capital flight, falling markets, currency pressure. When the dollar strengthens and rates go up, the rupiah weakens and the cost of importing essentials spikes.
So that's why we keep seeing the rupiah flirting with 17,000 per dollar.
Yep. And it could go higher if the US keeps tightening or ramps up tariff threats. It's a tough cycle for import-dependent economies.
So how's Indonesia pushing back?
Through state-backed financial tools, especially sovereign wealth funds like AINE and danantara. They're trying to shift from being passive investment targets to being strategic capital managers.
So, we'll take your money, but you don't get to run the show.
Exactly. AINE partners with foreign investors, but keeps governance control. They're targeting toll roads, airports, healthcare, critical stuff. And danantara is more focused on optimizing national assets from within.
Sounds like financial Aikido. Use the investor's power to strengthen your own position.
That's the idea. While the global scene gets messier, Indonesia's betting on long-term resilience. Build partnerships that don't collapse during volatility.
But that comes with risks too, right? Foreign money in national infrastructure.
Of course. That's why transparency and structure matter. If these funds stay professionally managed and politically neutral, they could redefine how emerging markets navigate global capital flows.
So while Trump is using capital as a weapon, Indonesia is trying to turn it into a shield.
Beautifully put. In this new global era, it's not just about who has the money, but who controls the flow and on what terms.
Thanks, this has been incredible. Always appreciate your take.
Likewise, let's keep watching not just the markets, but who's writing the next rulebook. Duration: 6 minutes, 850 words. Focus: Trump's strategy, brilliance or blunder. Indonesia's counter-strategy. Tone: critical, insightful, global in scope. Let me know if you want this turned into a visual script, monologue version, or localized context.